Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley.
And I'm her daughter, Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Heidi and I want to welcome you to Open to Hope Conversations, the podcast.
We believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself after a loss is hope, using this moment to connect with others who have not only survived but thrived.
So let's get started. Welcome to the Open to Hope show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, Heidi and I are here together.
We are, yes. We're in the same space. We usually aren't. We have one of our very, very favorite people on today, Mom.
Right. We're going to talk about grief, loss, and resilience today with a fabulous guy. And you want to introduce him, Heidi?
Absolutely. And he knows a lot about grief, loss, and resilience. We have Dr. Ken Druck here. He's been with us many times. He was on our very, very first show, maybe about 15 years ago at Public Access Television. That show won a very prestigious award, thanks to Dr. Druck. Dr. Ken Druck has been on many, many media. He's been on CNN, Larry King Live. It goes on and on and on. He is the author of several groundbreaking books, including How We Go On and The Real Rules of Life. He is the recipient of the prestigious Distinguished Contribution of Psychology Award and the founder of the Jenna Druck Center to honor the life and spirit of his daughter, Jenna. There's much, much more. Please Google Ken Druck and you will find out everything he has done. He is truly a pioneer in the field of grief and loss and resilience. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you so much. It's such a joy to see you guys, to see you, to be with you, and to be talking about what we're talking about today. I'm so, we're living in a time, it couldn't be more important for all of us to be able to have safe refuge, to be able to talk about exactly what's going on, to be 100% honest, have trusted confidants that we can share with. So I'm so glad to be with you today.
Awesome. Well, Ken, I'd like to start by having you tell your story. One of the things I hear often is I'll mention that I've had a child die, and people will say, "You never get over it, do you?"
Yeah. People say, "How are you doing?" And especially people in the beginning, in the early chapters of having suffered a loss, ask, do you ever get over this? Because the pain is so inescapable. The sorrow is so inconsolable. It all feels we're drowning. We're looking for air to breathe. We don't know how we're going to survive. And we're going in between being surreal, like this couldn't really have happened. I can't really have to be dealing with this now, to all too real, where it's like, this really did happen. Oh my God, how am I supposed to go on with my own life? How is our family supposed to go on? So for our family, it was 1996. Rewind the clock. It was just my daughter's 51st birthday. Mm-hmm. She died at age 21. Mm-hmm. And Jenna was on a study abroad trip of a lifetime. Kiss goodbye, say, you're going to come back. This is going to be a launching pad for the rest of your life, because the world is bigger than the US and it's bigger than California or wherever our kids live. And we said the sweetest, dearest goodbye. She called from different parts of the world, and she called right before she called. She said, "Dad, I can't believe we're going to the Taj Mahal tomorrow. We're going to go sit on, we're going to go to the Ganges, where babies are born, wise people go to die. It's one of the sacred places. And then we're going to see the Taj Mahal, the world's greatest symbol of eternal love." And Jenna died on the dirt road to the Taj Mahal.
Wow.
With 3 other beautiful young college women. And so when my phone rang and it was the White House saying, "We're so sorry. Please let us help you handle this. We want to bring your daughter home." It's like my life as I knew it ended. Mm-hmm. And even though I felt like a part of me had just died, there was a part of me that hadn't died that was going to have to go on and figure out what is impossible to figure out. How do we possibly go on with our own life when somebody whose life means even more to us than our own has died, and it's unthinkable, it's unspeakable. It's like, how do I? And suddenly we have to look at, how am I going to survive? And in all these years, and in the privilege and honor of working with so many families, I've come up with 8 different things that we can do to honor. The word honor is so, so, so important, starting with ourselves. How do we honor ourselves that we've just taken a hit?
Yeah.
And it's impossible to describe to another human being what we've gone through, even in some cases, if they've gone through it themselves. It's impossible to say. People say, "How are you doing?" And after 9/11, we had a class called "How are you doing?" And everybody had to come up with something that they felt resonated. I used to say, just as you'd expect.
I
I
like
like that
that.
answer.
Just
Yeah.
as you'd
Sometimes
expect.
people
Because
don't
I
have
don't,
an
yeah,
answer.
it's a social nicety to ask somebody, how are they doing? How
Right.
are you
And
doing? It's not really a question that
mm,
they want the answer to. Nobody wants to know how you're doing.
right.
They can't imagine. Most people don't want to think about it or spend a microsecond.
And
We
it's
have to
also
say,
scary for a lot of people.
it's
Oh, this could happen to
terrifying.
me.
Hmm.
Yeah. We call compassion, my pain and your heart. Most people don't want to experience that, anything remotely close to it. So not only do we feel like we've lost, a child or a parent or whoever, our partner, we feel like we've also lost the world, because the
And we
world,
have, in a way, the
yeah,
world we knew has
Yeah.
changed.
that's right. And the world is not, and we find out the world isn't particularly grief literate. The world
Right.
really doesn't know what to say or do,
Hmm.
to take away our pain. How are you doing? And God forbid we smile or laugh one
Yeah.
night. It's like, oh, you're better now. That's why it's so important. 2 things are so. Number one, to find people. That's why I love the work that you guys have been doing over the years, being there for countless thousands and millions of people. We need a trusted confidant, somebody who knows, who is not afraid to tell the truth about how they're doing and what's going on. By the way, my other answer to grief just walked in the room. Come here.
Your doggy?
Yeah. This is
Uh,
another
whoa,
white dog, right?
I love him.
Uh, Isn't
Oh, he
this the
makes me
way that
happy.
people helped everybody grieve? Yes.
That is amazing. Well, it's
Dogs not
interesting.
only know how to be forgiving and unconditionally loving, they also know how to be with us
Mhm.
Yes.
when
And
we
Ken,
they
are grieving.
sense it.
and Ken, it's interesting that you're bringing up your dog because when my brother died, my parents, my family, of course, was just destroyed for a while, and they got 2 dogs, a little Shih Tzu and a little Lhasa, because everybody was avoiding them. And once they got the puppies, people started coming towards them to see the puppies,
Yeah.
and the puppies helped them, brought a little
Yes,
happiness and
that's
joy into their
fantastic.
lives.
Yes, yes. We know dogs teach us something about grief and about ourselves
Mhm.
that isn't available anywhere else. Because when we get a dog, we have made an agreement, even unconsciously, to be with a life as it begins in puppyhood, and to go through and to also bear the sorrow of that life ending and all the complications. And we do that with our dogs. We get to see them through their entire lives. And I think doing that helps us understand that life is a passage in some way. It's kind of the existential helper for us to see that we're passing through a life, and as our ancestors have, and as we will at some point. Find trusted confidants,
Yeah.
find people who can be with us,
Not
not just
everybody's good grief
advice.
support,
That's right.
right?
And I have something on my website called the do's and don'ts of grief support. And I used to give compassionate classroom when a child died to classes, and I go into the workplace. I gave a compassionate workplace program to an hour and a half for us to learn what it means to do to support somebody who's grieving, and what it doesn't mean, what you don't do, what's not helpful, what helps people feel more alone. So anyhow, so that's the first thing. The second thing is I started talking about honor, is to start taking care of ourselves as we've never had to do before. All of us have had to summon newfound courage. We got married, or we had a child, or we took a job and a career, or we did something heroic and we had to call forth new courage, new strength, new faith to do it. And here we are in a moment, in that what now moment, the most painful what now moment of our lives. And we're having to think about what now, what can I do to save my own life? And doing so is the way we honor the person we've lost.
And doing something, maybe just taking a shower the first time.
It's as simple as that, Gloria. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I lost 15 pounds the first 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
can't tell you what I did or didn't do. Just the part of me that felt like it was dying, the part of me that could not take pleasure. Oh, look at me having a nice meal. My daughter died, but I can have a nice meal, or laugh, or go out, or do anything, or get dressed in a nice jacket.
Yeah.
What kind of a father am I?
Right.
So giving ourselves permission, the word permission is part of honoring ourselves. The idea of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about a mani and a pedi. I'm talking about getting up and walking, even if it means 10 steps to the corner as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Giving ourselves permission to not know what to do. Some of us are so used to knowing what to do and being in control of our lives that we're beating ourselves up. How can I not know what to do? Where to go? What to say? What to feel? And it's like our foot on our throat instead of our hand on our heart.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the greatest honorings is to keep our hand, the hand on our heart of kindness, of patience,
Mm-hmm.
of permission, to be brokenhearted, to not know what to do, to be in that place of unspeakable unknowingness, and to start caring for ourselves in small bits, as you're saying, that a glass of water. And some of us, if you're a guy, the least utilized four-letter word in your vocabulary is the one that starts with an H. Help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
Yeah.
a guy, you need to be able to say, please surrender your ego here. You're not going to look lesser in anybody's eyes if you say, I think I need help.
And then I think for women, it can be helping others too much, looking at your
Yes,
children, looking at taking care of other people.
the type E woman, everything to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that.
So we have to think, oh my God, I don't have the luxury of doing some of the things that I've been doing over the decades of my life, over accommodating, pleasing other people, saying yes to everything, worrying about things socially. Oh my God, I've got to get cards out to everybody. Please put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath. Ask for a hug. If somebody says, can we bring over food? Or can we take care of something for you? We used to give out an award every year called the Compassionate Workplace Award. We had this one company where all of the other employees, this woman lost her son, and all the employees donated one of their vacation days to this woman so she could have 3 months
Wow.
I love
to
that.
be able to gather herself and her other child and her husband, and begin to understand that this was going to be a journey,
Yeah.
and it was going to require her to take better care of herself, to not pressure herself, to get her foot off of her throat.
Mm-hmm.
The foot on the throat also has to do with guilt and blame. 90% of us will blame ourselves. What did we do? What could we have done? What should we have done? And we live with that, in that torture chamber of guilt. with our foot on our
Oh,
throat.
we could have made the difference.
That's right.
I think some people do that also because you want to believe it's a safer world. You don't want anything to happen to other people in your family.
Yes. If there were some things that I could do for myself right now,
Mhm.
I could turn on music that's been soothing for me.
Hmm.
I could walk in nature, that walk in the park near my home, or near in the if I live near a beach or a lake, a walk in nature. Nature can speak to us. And being picky and selective in the people that we surround ourselves with.
Mhm. People come in that happen to be good grief support,
Hmm.
and you will
Yes.
find some people, and all you later on you can decide whether you want to forgive your friends that didn't show up.
Yeah.
Our friends are there for different reasons. I always thought every friend when Scott died had to be there to be good grief support. Well, I was 20 and most of my friends weren't good grief support. And I resented it. But then someone said to me, wait a minute, maybe that friend is there to have fun with you and to be shallow and not, and to distract you and to not talk about your brother. And maybe that friend is there to, walk on the beach with
That's
you
beautiful.
and look at nature. Every friend is not there to go deep and
Yes.
talk about your brother. Maybe
We
there's
have,
other reasons and
that's
roles.
so wise. We have special purpose friends. If you're a guy, you might have golfing buddies. If you're a
Yeah.
woman, you might have coffee, a friend, and we have all purpose friends.
I like that. Special purpose and all purpose.
Mhm.
And one of the greatest things anybody did to put their hand on my heart was I was walking through town about 2 years after my daughter Jenna died. And this guy came up to me and he says, he'd been an old friend and I hadn't seen him since Jenna died. And he says, I owe you an apology. I said, excuse me? He says, I have seen you on the street the last 2 years. I have avoided you like the plague. There's some irrational part of me that felt like maybe it's contagious, this losing a child thing. And I couldn't bear the thought. And I also didn't know what the hell I could say to you. I know how close you were with your daughters. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I have avoided you. And I want to apologize and tell you this is my coming out and saying to you, I'm sorry. And I do want to be there for you. And I want to figure out what it would mean to support somebody. And I'm going to
Wow.
figure that out. And I apologize. And I said, you saying that to me, there's probably 100 people that have done the same thing you did.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And I might have been one of them if it had been somebody else. But you saying that to me is such a gesture of respect and thoughtfulness and love and affection and friendship. And thank you. It was one of the nicest things somebody ever said to me, to be that honest.
Yeah.
And I think, we can learn how to say to people, I don't know what to say to you or do to bring you comfort, but I want to let you know I love you or I care about you. And if there's anything I can do, I'm not sure what that would be. I've thought maybe I could do this. I could come up with a couple of multiple choices because don't ask people to say, oh, would you tell me if you need anything? Don't say
Yeah,
that to a grieving
Right.
you
person.
need to tell them what you need.
You need to
Yeah.
say, here's what's on the menu of I was thinking I could do this, I could do that.
Yes, we do notice that these people avoid us, and it does
Mhm.
hurt sometimes. But I remember going to the grocery store and people running the other way. People have got their grocery list they want to do. You know, so that will happen, and it just does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
People,
they do think it's contagious,
yeah.
which is so interesting. It's like, wait, I don't want this to happen to me.
Yeah. Somebody once told me I might as well be walking around with a tattoo on my forehead, dead child. You know,
We
um,
only laugh because tongue in
stay
cheek.
away
Because
from
it's
me.
true.
Yeah.
You either laugh or
Yeah.
you cry
Yeah.
about that, right?
And the other thing we do to ourselves, I think the most important thing is to do that self audit. It's like, all right, in the beginning, I was so terrible in the beginning to be around, this poor little girl at the grocery checkouts when I eventually had the strength to go out and buy some food at the checkout stand. Have a nice day. And I said, yeah, I'll have a wonderful day. My daughter was just killed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I
Yeah.
bit her nose off.
Hmm.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I was terrible.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the central organizing principle of my life was my own pain.
Right.
Hmm.
And we
Well,
go
you want
through,
your own pain to be reflected in the world around you. And the world around you is still going on as if nothing happened. It's sunny out, it's beautiful. People are talking about shallow things. You
yeah,
want them to understand how big this is for you.
yeah. So one part of us wants to join the world. We don't want to lose the world. And we take ourselves out to a holiday party or somebody wants, hey, you got to come on over. And instead of limiting ourselves, I learned to say, I'd be glad to come over for about 15 to 30 minutes. But if that would be a problem for you guys, I'll wait until I have an hour in me to come over.
Oh, I
Right
like
now, I
that.
don't have an hour in me. So I learned to limit the time, the amount of time that I could sit and listen to people gossiping and small talk and what's happening politically and whatever, because I could not handle that. Or
Hmm.
my daughter got a nose ring. It's like I don't want to hear that.
Hmm.
I don't want to hear that.
And
So
you're upset and you're thinking, well, I wish I.
limiting ourselves.
Yeah.
Self-care means saying yet, no, figuring out what to say yes to and what to say no to, and what to say thank you. Could I have a rain check on that? Could I have a rain check? I'm not
I
ready.
like to say that you get a hall pass.
Hmm.
I love it.
Like in school when you got a hall pass to leave and go to the
And
bathroom,
I
whatever.
also like on that note, Mom, Ken setting healthy boundaries with people. Yes, I can come over, but I only have 15 minutes in me. If that's okay, I'll come over.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the question then becomes, all right, now you're 3 months out, or you're 6 months out, or it's the 1 year angelversary or whatever. And we think, oh my goodness, it's been a year or it's been 2 years. Or in my case, think about this for a second. My God, it's been 30 years. Am I allowed to have tears streaming down if I'm walking behind a girl that has the same hair
Yeah.
that Jenna had, who's laughing with her friends? Or if I get a call from one of her friends, this is 30 years later saying, hey, I had to share my joy with you. My daughter just graduated high school, or I'm now the president of, Oracle, or, whatever. Am I allowed to get off the phone after having shared the joy with that person and have tears streaming down?
Right.
Or have I passed the 30-year mark? We don't understand that some grief occurs in time. It kind of is linear, and some grief occurs beyond time.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's not, you can't look at your heart and say, hey, heart, it's been 2 months or
Right.
4 months or a year or 2 years or 5 years or 20 years. You can't say that to a heart.
Hmm.
And people
Well,
ask me, how are you now? And I say, you know what? The truth is, I walk with a limp in my heart.
yeah,
Right.
I like that.
I
Well, I want to say this about it, though, for people who are newly bereaved, and I know how much they're hurting. You do go there I call it going to the well. You go back to that deepest point, but you don't stay as long. And the point is, it's a familiar place that you want to touch every so
Hmm.
often.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize it. You don't want to lose track of that person in your life. Any
Yeah.
of the people that
and
you
you've made a conversion too. What started out as the purest love that became the deepest sorrow
Mhm.
wants to become the purest love again,
I love
many
that.
ways as possible. So, what we've done, if we've cultivated, I call it's one of the honorings, the love that never dies. cultivating the love that never dies.
And that's what
How do I
we've
do that?
done. Love it.
How do I do that? I say, Jenna, I love you without
And
inhibition.
Scott, we love you.
Yes, we do.
And I hope everybody who's listening to this now will throw their arms up, and the people that they've lost will say, and I love you. And we love you. And do you have one final last word for people who've had a loss?
I stay open. You guys say it. It's embodied in who you are and in the programs and the offerings you have made for so many years. Stay open to hope and realize that hope and compassion in action means you taking care of yourself. It means you listening to one another in your family, because we all grieve differently. And giving yourself permission to be on this journey and to fight your way back into this life and to find the meaning that awaits you and the joy, do I dare say to you, to look forward to the chapters in this life that remain, that will bring joy and some measures of peace to you. And that's my hope, my wish, and my prayer.
Thank you so much Ken, for being on the show today. We love you.
Thank you so much, Ken. And thank you for being a pioneer in this field. And thank you for continuing to fight the good fight to make the world a better place. We love you.
Love you guys.
And find Ken on the internet. He's got all sorts of things going on, wonderful books, and you've done so much for the world. Love you much, Ken.
Thank you.
We want to thank everybody for joining us on this show today. And Heidi and I always want to remind you that if you've lost hope, please lean on ours until you find your own, and God bless.
I'm Dr. Heidi Horsley. You have been listening to Open to Hope, the podcast. You can follow Open to Hope on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To learn more, visit us at opentohope.com and go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe.
I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley. Join us again next week for another Open to Hope conversation, where we invite you to lean on our hope until you find your own.